We're back. It is the first card of the year. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
No, I didn't even think about it. I just want to train, fight, work, do all the normal stuff, travel, have fun.
I think I've said this every year that we've done this. I don't believe in resolutions. I just think if it's December 29th, start working. Like if you think you're going to do something, don't wait till January 1st. You just do it. If you wait till January 1st to do anything, it's not a resolution. You're just not going to do it. It won't.
One thing I really like, do 365 miles in a year, I think would be a cool goal. And it's easier to keep track once it hits January 1st.
Now, all right, so here's the thing. Is a goal the same as a resolution? Because I look at resolutions, I look at goals as goals, something you want to do, something you want to accomplish. For me, I look at resolutions as something I want to change or better that of myself. So I look at a resolution of like, I'm going to be more organized. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to, quit smoking, quit drinking, quit this, quit that, better myself, do those type of things. Whereas goals, I don't look. Do you look at any sort of goal as a resolution or?
No, I don't. I said I've always liked resolutions. Whatever it takes, to me, it's just like religion. Whatever it takes for you to become a better version, better person, I'm all for it. Even if it's gimmicky and dumb and it's at a certain time of the year, whatever. As long as it gets you into the gym, as long as it gets you eating right, who cares? I don't really care. But yeah, I think as older I've gotten, I believe a lot less in revolutions. I do believe in
revolutions. Yes.
Yes, very much so. But yeah, just goals. Just let's just get after it now.
Okay. Speaking of goals, before we get to this UFC fight card, January 11th, first fight card of the year, you guys go to the Patreon. It's the first card of the year. We are going to have a lot of picks. We are running hard this year. That's our resolution or goal.
Yes, to do both. And I actually want to, I need to get my Twitter back up, restarted. I want to put out more stuff on Twitter. I want to do weird TikToks, I think.
Okay. Like Mike Perry dancing TikToks or
something like that. I want to break down like random characters that I find in MMA. I think that'd be funny. Yeah, but we just need to put out more content, more stuff. I already did Clint's show. By the way, Clint, congratulations going out on your own. That's super cool for him.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, he just had me on. But yeah, we just got to put out more. And I already studied the whole LFA card, UFC card. We got Fury this week. We have BYB, which is going to be a big money getter. Bare Knuckle next week. Like we're just right back into the thick of things. So go subscribe, jump on the Patreon. I'm super excited for what's to come.
Yeah, the Patreon, with Patreon, you get all of our picks and then you get Discord access, which is a lot of fun. It's been quiet. I've been out of town. There just hasn't been fights. It's, but it's January, guys. It's ready to go. And then if you want, we always ask, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video, but then also turn on notifications. Cause I think a lot of people don't get notified. I know I turn off push notifications on so much stuff anyway. So we've got a card. First one, do you have let's get back to goals before we get into the card. Do you have any betting goals or betting resolutions of like ways you're going to change stuff or any changes that you want to make to the way that you bet? Bankroll, being more or less conservative?
Yeah, I think it's important. And this, not to bet on every fight. Literally, half the enjoyment. I'm sure for a lot of like recreational bettors, it's the same way. You're just sitting there watching the fights. You want to have action on every fight, just have action on every fight. I think discipline, just like with anything in stock trading, in gambling, in life in general, discipline is one of the most important things. So choosing what I choose. And then once that runs out, letting that be that, not having to stack on each time.
It's funny you say that. I was talking about My First Millions podcast, my favorite podcast. They were talking about, I forget the website. I need to look it up. It was on one of the last episodes. They were talking about a website. And what they do is they take the front page of, I think it was the Wall Street Journal for like different days throughout the last like 30 years. And what they do is they give you the stock price the day before, and then some information of the front page of the Wall Street Journal of what would happen. Or they give you the stock price and then the day after's Wall Street Journal front page. So basically you get a day in the future. So you can see like what type of stuff happened and, Iran blew somebody up or this and that. And so then they wanted to see if they knew a day in advance, the information of different things, if they would be better stock buyers. And everyone was a zero. So it's pretty much, they're not.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so because there's a lot of things that go into stock news and the world and other things that people don't think about. then they took like really elite hedge fund traders and they did the same thing. And they actually did a lot better. I forget this significant difference. It was like 50, 60%, whatever. Of the stocks that they bought, they were about the same percentage of what they did right and what they did wrong. Where they did differently, the two things that they did differently is how much money they were buying in stocks, the volume and margin and this and that. Like, because a lot of people, I think this guy's going to hit in betting, and you only put $1 on it. And then, oh man, he hit, I should have put more. And then guys you're super confident on, you lose all your money. So it was managing bankroll, managing the bets. Other thing, the most significant thing was they didn't bet everything. They sat a lot out. There was so much stuff that they just didn't feel comfortable buying. And that's like what you're talking about with the bets. There's so much stuff. If you feel conviction, go for it. If you don't, maybe you bankroll a little bit or this and that, or maybe you maybe the odds or whatever. But if you're just uncertain, like, don't bet. Like, people bet so much the odds, emotion. Oh, this guy is plus 350. Sit it out. Like, sit stuff out. It's okay to sit stuff out.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's the best.
Man, anything else before we get going?
I think we should jump right into this episode.
I'm
excited to be back, and I got to go to work. So,
all right, let me pull up the odds, and then I will pull up our fight card. Main event fight card. They started the year with a woman's main event fight card, so that's always hard for me to stomach. But anything on this card that you just absolutely love, fight wise? Whether it's not even betting, but just fight wise,
like as in a good fight.
Yeah, just something you want to see.
I'm actually really curious to see the Bashi and C-Rod fight.
Oh,
can't wait for that one.
Yep.
And I actually really am interested in Puna and Medic.
Yes.
And Kopylov and Chris Curtis. I think those are all great fights.
There's a lot of fights. There's some good fights on this. There's actually, it's weird. We've got some pretty good names like Kopylov and Chris Curtis. Like, that's a good fight with some good names.
It's a fun fight. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. We've got Joe Solecki and Nurullo. I don't even know how to say this. Nurullo Aliev. I'm pulling up the odds right here.
Yeah, that was good. Good job.
Aliev is minus 500 and Joe Solecki is plus 375. I'm going to, just because I'm doing all the, we have no producer here today. Producer Gabe abandoned us. He said, new year, new me. I'm out.
His 1 day a week he has to work, he's skipped.
1 day a week, and he's had like a month off, and now he's not here. So I'm going to run through the fight card and the odds. We'll start with you every time just to make it easier.
Okay. This one is interesting. Joe Solecki, late replacement. I thought his original matchup was a lot tougher than Joe Solecki. Outside of a guillotine that he can catch by surprise, I'm not really seeing how he has a path to victory. Aliev's striking is not great, and he's not going to put things together, but neither does Solecki really. He's kind of jittery, and it sets up the takedowns, and his wrestling is really, really good. Top control is good. The way that he uses his head, his leverage, his punches. He just fought Rafael Alves. That was his UFC debut, which is a crazy debut. That dude is insane, explosive. He put him in a guillotine and threatened him pretty tough with that one. And he was able to get out. He's got good awareness. He's got good defense in terms of the grappling. I don't see a way that Aliev loses this one here.
I'm not as high on Aliev, but I'm with you on Solecki. So I actually don't think Aliev is.
If it was a different matchup, that's what I'm saying. I could see it, but Solecki is weak. His boxing's okay, but then he gets tired quickly. He's good off his back. Like,
he doesn't like striking either. He's not comfortable. He's better than his comfort level would suggest. Aliev, first of all, he looks massive. Like, he's huge. But yeah, he got stuck in that guillotine with Alves, who has a really good guillotine. But I think Joe Solecki has infinitely better grappling, and he does have a good guillotine. What impressed me about Solecki is actually his Grant Dawson fight, which he got mauled and put in his guard. But he actually had a couple of good grappling, wrestling scrambles on the bottom, and he even hit a really beautiful chest wrap and threw him over and came up and did some stuff. I think Aliev wins because I think Solecki will play in the guard. But man, I'm not huge on Aliev, and it wouldn't be the biggest shocker in the world to see Solecki get a submission or something like that. Got to remember too, Solecki after this is going to get cut if he loses,
and he's going to lose.
So he really doesn't have anything to. I mean, he has nothing to lose. So I could see him really sending some wild submissions and hanging on him and going. I don't think he's going to get it, but man, Aliev there's something about him where I'm not sold yet.
I think we could maybe even see a finish in this one, a late finish, ground and pound, beating him up.
So here's the thing: is you watch Aliev's ground and pound win on the Contender, and that guy, I mean,
not
there are levels to this, but Solecki, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see it go the distance if it does, because I think Solecki, he can hold on,
he's
he can wrap
enough with
up,
the guard.
he can do just enough to where it's like, man, like he's losing the whole fight, but he just won't die.
I worry a bit about his durability, though, especially after the Jakar one where he just went out from the armbar slam.
Yeah, but that was just a slam right on the head. Like that was like that was a wild one.
Nurullo is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
He's training for it.
I think so. All right, so we've got Viktoriia Dudakova up next against Fatima Kline. Dudakova's plus 650. Kline is minus 950. Do you agree with that stretch of an odd?
No, not at all. I mean, Fatima obviously is a huge prospect, and I really do think she's good. I think she wins this fight. But then I was watching it back, and I'm like, man, I don't think the skill level is that different. The only thing I guess you could that's going to be a major thing here is the way that Dudakova slows down. And Fatima just never gets tired, and she's got a crazy engine, can go forever. That's the biggest thing. But if you look at them on paper, Dudakova looks more uncomfortable on the feet than she actually is. She actually has some good punching, fast hands. She can wrestle. She does some jiu-jitsu stuff. I know none of that is near the level of Fatima, but I think the striking is fairly close. I think the wrestling could be decently close. So to do plus 660 on a women's MMA fight that I feel like is going to be decently close margins. I could see Fatima getting a late finish, but I think it's closer than the odds suggest.
Okay. You guys know I didn't watch film on this. Like
everyone was asking because we had so much time off.
Yeah. No, you know what's funny is the time off. I expected to watch a lot of film, and of course we had Christmas and the holidays. I was in Hawaii for 10 days with the family. We actually spent the Christmas in Hawaii, which was awesome and amazing.
So you didn't spend that time watching film?
Not a bit.
Wow.
But then when I got back Friday a week ago. 2 hours later, I closed on a new business. And I have been redlining 12-hour days on this new business. I mean, some days I've actually been out with the crews till 5, 6 in the morning. Like numerous times I have not gotten home until 5 or 6 in the morning for 3, 4, 5 days in a row over the last few weeks, even before I closed. Well, before we went to Hawaii for Christmas, for days I was out with the crews because I just wanted to learn the business. I'd be out till 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And when I got back, I was out till 4, 5, 6 in the morning cleaning just to make sure that I knew.
You're wearing it on your face. I can see.
I know. I'm tired, you guys. I'm 10 years older today than I was a week ago. All right. Next up, we've got Bruno Lopes at plus 180 against Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. I'll actually go on this one. Man, Lopes just looks slow to me. Just his chin is there. We saw him in his in his Contender Series fight defending the takedowns, but they were bad shots. I mean, it was
in his last Contender fight.
Yes, in his last Contender fight, they were bad shots. He actually got dropped in that fight by straight right, and Gadzhiyasulov, I can't say that fast. He fancies himself as a striker, but he can actually wrestle. Like he's actually a good. I mean, you come from Dagestan, you better know.
Hey, Bahrain, come on,
fighting out of Bahrain. But he can wrestle. I actually think he can put this fight on the ground anytime he wants it. Not anytime he wants it, but if he needs to, I think it's there. I think he can do it. But I like his striking. There's nothing flashy about it. It's just clean, simple striking, very fundamental. I mean, he'll mix in some kicks, some wild kicks here and there. But I like his speed. I like his foundation. And then I just like his ability to mix. If he needs to clinch, he can clinch. If he needs to get the fight to the ground, he's got a pretty good chance of getting the fight to the ground. I like his overall athleticism. He's not like you need to be lean, but he's not like heavy and clunky. He's fast. He's clean. He moves well. He really does most stuff pretty well against a guy that I think is a little sloppy and a little clunky as a whole.
When I went into this, I thought that Bruno was going to be a slam spot. I was like, oh man, this guy Gadzhiyasulov, complete fraud, and Bruno's going to get in there and take him down and stuff like that. I know they kind of label him as a kickboxer, like he's some phenomenal kickboxer. Then watching Bruno, just like you said, he is about as slow as they come, and every single fight that he has, he gets dropped. Every fight that he has, he gets dropped. Like there's not.
He doesn't move his head, and his chin is in the air,
and his chin doesn't seem to be very good either. It's not like he's got some iron chin and he's just walking through it. Like he gets dropped almost every fight. It's crazy. I think Gadzhiyasulov looked bad in his last fight against Ribeiro. It was just such a close fight for a guy that he should have steamrolled. There was arguments to be made going the other way. So that was left in my mind, that imprint that he just is not good. And Bruno is actually the better guy because Bruno was minus 700 over Ribeiro, who, he ended up beating in his last fight. So according to the odds, now we got the better guy. Maybe it should be a closer fight. But I think fight styles wise, I think Bruno is going to get obliterated because he's going to go all out, trying to land big bombs, trying to really hurt Gadzhiyasulov, who's so much bigger, longer, faster, and cleaner puncher. I think Bruno's constantly going to get countered on the inside, and then he's going to go down.
Yeah, I could even see it as being like one of those fights where it's like a close 10-9 round for 3 rounds, but clearly Gadsy. Like nothing wild, nothing crazy. It's like, yeah, I mean, he landed the cleaner punches, and
I think Gadsy's going to put him out this fight.
You think so?
Yeah, just because Bruno's willing to burn it.
True.
He's willing to burn the
He's
boats.
willing to go in the fire, and if he goes in the fire, his chin, like you said, it doesn't seem to hold up.
If those other fat guys are dropping him, now you have this like specimen Dagestani athlete. Let's see.
All right. So next up, we've got Ernesta, we have Ernesta and Nicolle Caliari. What the hell kind of names are these? Like they're adding like too many consonants in a row and too many vowels in a row for my white English speaking ass to be able to comprehend. The odds on it are Ernesta is minus 260. Nicolle is plus 220. Super easy to say first names. Unpronounceable last names.
All right, and what's your thoughts on this fight?
Yes.
All right. No, this is an interesting fight actually. That Caliari girl, she's a little Brazilian girl, and I was watching her old film. There's not a ton of stuff because it looks like she was fighting in like random secret promotions where there was no filming. I'm not kidding, for like a bunch of her fights, at least her recent fights. Then she fought Contender Series, and she fought a soccer mom on Contender. Did really well to start, and then she got put on the bottom and then hit an armbar off her back. They kind of claim her as to be a really good striker too. Her old film, her arms were much smaller, and she was pretty dynamic, like a pretty good, solid, fast striker. Now that she's got all this muscle, I mean, I don't understand how she can keep pace. Everything she does is hard and squeezing and tension and lactic acid buildup and swinging hard for the fences and just that really slow, like Brazilian plodding style. And Kareckaitė, Ernesta, she's probably going to get a huge uptick here in her popularity because of her last fight. A lot of people thought that she won that fight. There's definitely arguments to be made. I think maybe we're overvaluing her a bit here, but I think the cardio is going to be a big difference in the volume, and she probably takes over late. You can probably find a round 2, round 3 finish, I think.
Okay. Man, what do we have next? I'm actually excited about this. Jacobe Smith and Preston Parsons. Let me look at the odds right here. Preston Parsons is plus 155. No, I lie. That was the old fight. Preston Parsons is plus 300. Jacobe Smith is minus 400.
Makes more sense.
Yes. Smith was a 2-time JUCO national champ, wrestler at Oklahoma. I was wondering if, like, when I was kind of looking at Jacobe, and he's as dynamic. He's good. I mean, he's the guy. Like, he's athletic. He's dynamic. He's explosive. Even his striking isn't amazing, but it's clean, and he does the right stuff, and he's not super uncomfortable.
His leg kicks, he whips those things.
Yes. Good jab. I love his jab. Love his low kick. He's good. And in my head, before I was watching Parsons, I was like, man, Parsons is good. He's a good, solid
MMA wrestler,
MMA journeyman type of guy who does a lot. And what I was wondering initially was like, man, can he get Jacobe tired? Because Jacobe came out kind of hot and heavy.
He was huffing and puffing.
Yes. And it was like there. The thing though is I don't know that he's going to stylistically. I don't think that Parsons, he's kind of wide in his stance. He's kind of wide in his stance. And he likes to do the like level change, right hand, loop under, throw, like kind of switch, almost like TJ Dillashaw-esque kind of style. It doesn't look like he's really putting stuff together. He's kind of like pre-planning combinations and going. And he does shoot well. He shoots well on a cage and, underneath people and gets under them well. It's not going to work on Jacobe Smith. Like, it's just not going to work. And then it just comes down to how much effort. Actually, the only thing that I wonder is if Parsons gets taken down, turns referee, starts building up, and that happens again and again and again, does that tire Jacobe Smith out? That said, I think even if I think he can win he's winning round 1. I think he can win enough of round 2. And then even if he does get really tired, I don't think he's going to be death gassed to where I don't think Parsons' striking is so amazing that he's going to really be able to take over. And I think Parsons could have the best day of his life and Jacobe is the worst. And I don't think Parsons can out wrestle him. So then it's like, can he finish him? And I don't think he can. So I do think it goes to a decision because I think Parsons is good enough. And I do think Jacobe's going to slow down. But I like Jacobe Smith here.
This one, I kind of thought the same thing. You think of a pressure guy, a guy who can wrestle a little bit. He's just going to be in your face for 15 minutes, wearing out Jacobe. I mean, at least Preston's going to make him fight more than that last guy. That was a pretty pathetic performance from that other guy. Just laid there for 10 minutes till the fight got stopped, like really bad. I think the only way to play this is Jacobe pre, and then you can probably get a really nice number on Preston Parsons live if you think the tide is turning.
Okay.
But it's hard unless Preston is willing to eat a lot of shots coming in because he's going to get hit hard. He's going to have to worry about level changes, which will open up the hands. Unless he's willing to go through the fire and really make Jacobe work, because it's going to be hard to make him work by wrestling because he's not going to take him down. It's not like he can take him down, hang on him, get him back up, and do it over again. He's going to be the one, and he's going to have to be standing up constantly. It just seems like he's kind of outgunned and outmatched in pretty much every department, maybe other than volume.
Volume, cardio, and experience. Like those things.
Those are and those are big things.
Yeah, they're big things. The adrenaline. It's a good thing it's in the Apex. It's not in an arena for your first fight.
Yeah.
Like, so
those are big things. I think Jacobe wins the fight. I think this reminds me of like Mansour when Mansour won on Contender Series, and then they put him in a really quick fight right away with Dusko just to get a win. This is what it reminds me of. I think they obviously know Jacobe's going to be a star in the future. Hard to fade the star. It's hard to fade the star.
Really is. I mean, there's not much. There's nothing. I was trying to look at it the other way, but I couldn't. All right, next up we have Trey Ogden against Thiago Moisés, and Ogden's plus 160. Moisés is minus 185.
I think I like Trey Ogden in this fight.
Man, you son of a bitch.
Were you going to go the same way?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. First of all, Trey Ogden he gets the most out of himself. That dude, like, he is a consummate overperformer.
Oh, the most I've ever seen.
Right? And
is he athletic? No. Is he super strong? No. Is he a best striker? No. Can he wrestle? Kind of.
Yeah,
but he wins every fight.
He knows how to do it. And Moisés, I'm not wowed by his striking. It's fine. It's not fine.
It looked good against Mitch Ramirez, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a jiu-jitsu guy. And then you take him and you put a really tall, long guy with a good jab in front of him. And now, Ogden has a good low kick. He has a good jab. And he just does all the right stuff. Like he doesn't do dumb stuff. We almost talk about Senor Perfecto, kind of before his chin kind of left. Like he's long, he's tall, he does all the right stuff. He's not the most athletic, but he has good cardio and he just keeps doing it. And who did Trey Ogden beat?
Loic Radzhabov, which was bombing on him.
Amazing. Yeah. And the way he just took him down again and again and again. So, I mean, Moisés' path to victory is take you down, submit you. I don't know that he's going to submit Ogden. Not to say he couldn't, like he absolutely can. He's very good, but Ogden's very good. He knows what he's doing. That I think we are all still on the Levitt loss. Like,
Yeah.
it was this short notice debut and he gassed. And what do you do? But I like Trey here for the upset.
Yeah, I mean, watching the way that he just suffocates guys and takes them down. I had a big Loic ticket in that fight, and then watching that fight was so incredibly frustrating to be on the other side of that. Every time he's standing up, it looks like a deer in the headlights, and he's going to go down any second, and then next second he's on top or on his back, and it's just frustrating. And I just see him doing that same thing to Thiago. They're going to strike for a little bit. He's got a good jab. He's going to be in his face trying to back Thiago up. And then the second Thiago starts getting wild, he's down on his back. It's just how I see it. And Ogden's a black belt
now,
too.
Don't you think that Thiago is going to shoot?
Yeah, I think Ogden's going to be ready for that though too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will. I think that jab and I think a lot of the stuff Ogden's going to do is going to keep him off. Kind of like you tell me when you're going against another jiu-jitsu guy, you got to be the one to shoot first. You go take them down, then they can't do what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And is Trey going to get submitted from his, in the guard?
I mean, he could, but it's unlikely.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anything could happen, but the likelihood of things happening.
All right. We're both on Trey.
Man, I thought I was going to be alone over there. All right. We've got Marco Tulio and Ihor Potieria. Tulio is minus 500. Ihor is plus 375.
It's a big number. It's a big number. I think Tulio is really, really good. He's got fast, crisp hands. His grappling is incredible. Like the dude is really legit. He's very, very good at what he does. For me, the question is, does he finish Ihor? I think he will. I think Ihor has been begging to be finished for quite some time now. And I think this is the guy that actually has enough power, combinations, cardio to finish him. But that being said, I mean, Ihor has looked a lot better. I hate saying that. He's been putting out more volume. He's been a little trickier with his stance. He's been doing things a lot better, and he always can crack. And Tulio, he's open to be hit. I think the odds are going to be probably a little wide in terms of Tulio, but I think Tulio is going to find a finish here.
Yeah, Tulio is the good thing about he's calm. He's just calm, and he's
almost too much sometimes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, in that, what is it, Duclos fight? What was the guy he just fought?
Duclos, yeah.
Yeah, Duclos. Like he was just there in his face, beautiful low kicks, cracking him. The thing was, Ihor's southpaw, so low kicks are going to be negated a little bit. But I think, it's an Ihor fight. Ihor, you said it, he looks better. He's actually fast, seems even somewhat athletic, but he's a, was it Jordan Wright, the guy that would come in and just swing and swing and swing, and then if he didn't get it, he was done. It's him. It's Edbin Shabazian.
Jordan Wright just won a 5-round fight the other day.
What?
By decision. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, some of these guys are really good. I bet you Ihor in the gym is actually probably good. But you could tell some people don't want to be in the fight. They like the competition. They like the training. They want to do it, but they're just uncomfortable actually fighting. And that is Ihor. He just doesn't look comfortable fighting. And so he's always going to look good for a little bit. And then if you bully him, he kind of freaks out. I don't know that he's going to be able to take Tulio down like he did Cesar Almeida. And Tulio's got a good chin. He does the right stuff. But more than anything, I think he's just calm. And that calmness and the pressure, I think, is going to freak Ihor out. And he's not – the wins that Ihor has are guys almost kill him, death gas, and then he comes back. The
long break in that last fight that he won.
Exactly.
The nut shot and all that stuff.
Yep, kind of let all that adrenaline and everything relax and calm down. I don't think that's going to be the case with Tulio, and I think Tulio is going to be calm and do all the right stuff. Wouldn't surprise me if it went. I think the third round has started. I think if there's a finish, it's in the third round, because I think Ihor tries to win immediately, but then he tries to not lose and get hurt. And so then once he starts to I can't beat this guy up and this and that, I think he's going to be very tentative, which I think is going to make it hard for him to get finished. So wouldn't surprise me to see this third round start, or it goes to a decision, but being just really dominant in Tulio's fashion.
All right.
We have Jose Johnson and Felipe Bunes up next. Bunes is 160 plus 160. Johnson is minus 185.
Felipe is my first play of the year.
I love that.
Yeah, Felipe is my first play of the year. Outside of that last fight, we kind of just talked about like UFC jitters and like the big stage. I never really seen him gas out like that in any other fight besides that one. And then he was also fighting the biggest pressure fighter you could possibly have in Little Pitbull and Josh Van. And he still won the first round, and he looked good in the first round. He's got really good Muay Thai. He is super dynamic. He's so fast. His jiu-jitsu is good. And I look at Jose Johnson, like a guy that's what's his record? Is he like 16 and 9?
16 and 9, something like that. Yeah.
That guy's a 2-1 favorite in the UFC.
Yep.
Over a guy who was an LFA champion.
For Felipe is 13 and 7 though.
I totally understand, but a lot of his losses are in ACA against these crazy Russians.
And well, the thing with ACA and ACB and ACC, like they fly Brazilians out and they fly other countrymen out of different places. Like on the worst flights ever, and they make sure that they're there the day they have to weigh in, and they have to go like immediately to the sauna. They haven't slept in 3 days, make weight, and then they just die. Like they intentionally do that. But these guys can't get fights, and when you're in Brazil, and somebody from Russia says, "Hey, we'll give you $2,000," like done. So
I'll go anywhere for $2,000.
They take these fights, and they're pretty set up in terms of things.
Yeah, and so he's got 3 losses out in ACA. Just by that. And then he obviously lost to Josh Van. Like he's losing to guys that are really good and a hard style for him. Jose Johnson's a long rangey striker that has some tricky jiu-jitsu, but so does Felipe's jiu-jitsu is way better. And he's shown that he will top time. And Jose Johnson has shown he'll stay on his back all the time. So I'm giving a huge grappling edge in my mind to Felipe. I think the striking is really close, really competitive. Jose's not really like a crazy big puncher. He's kind of a prodding from the outside. And I think Felipe's going to be willing to do that. And Felipe's got power too. So at dog odds, I think this is like a silly one not to play.
I love Felipe by submission here. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Jose has been working on his jiu-jitsu. But even we saw him against Abu in his last fight. But
he'll throw up a random triangle and
but even not getting finished, we all thought that he was going to get finished. But just different styles. Philippe's long and skinny and can wrap his necks and legs around people. And the thing with Jose is he doesn't pressure people the way that Van does, and that pressure killed Felipe. But staying on the outside, tip tapping, trying to make it pretty, is going to give Felipe the breathing room to like do what he wants without the suffocation of death gassing.
I think he's going to press Jose.
Yeah. Nope. I think you're right. I like Felipe here. I mean, you guys were biased. We know Felipe. So we've seen him in the gym a lot. So.
I don't know him, so I picked him completely.
Oh, okay.
Unrelated.
Have you not ever really trained with him? Or
no,
okay.
No.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what we got. Like I said, I like Felipe.
I think that's a great number there.
Yep. Punahele, Soriano, and Euros Medic. Puna's plus 170. Medic is minus 195. I like Puna here.
This is funny. I'm surprised the odds are this way.
So am I.
I thought the odds would be flipped just based on style matchup.
Yes.
Recent performances. I thought the odds would be completely flipped. And then I would be actually looking at an Euros underdog play as opposed to a Puna favorite play. It's weird, these odds.
Yeah. I mean, Euros is fast. He's fast and he's dynamic and he does a lot of stuff well.
His striking is gorgeous.
It is. It's really good. But Puna can strike and has good power and does a lot of stuff well.
And I know both these guys, so I'm right in the middle. I'm split.
Okay. The thing, though, is that Puna can wrestle. And I think and I feel like Euros Medic is going to fade. It's funny because Puna fades. But I think Puna fading Euros is one of those guys that's like amazing and then very, pedestrian. Like once that like athleticism and speed goes down, I feel like he loses a lot of his finishing ability. And Puna is durable. He's not the fastest guy, but he does a lot of stuff well and he can wrestle. And I feel like his durability and his wrestling are going to get him out of the first round. And then I feel like he's going to start to take over in that second and third round. I feel like he can control the pace. He can control the cage with that wrestling. I don't even think he needs takedowns. I think he can lean and hang and grab. And I think we're going to see a Puna wrestling heavy game here, at least early, and maybe even throughout the whole fight if he's having success there.
I think that's a bad idea. And I only say that because here's why. That's why I'm surprised the odds weren't opposite, because we saw Orolbai take down Medic and just dominate him in the grappling. And then we saw Puna do the same thing to Miguel Baeza as an underdog. So I'm really surprised on the odds. At these odds, I would probably start looking at honing in on Puna, but how I realistically think the fight's going to go, I think Earls is going to beat him by decision. Looking at the Orolbai fight, Orolbai is a different species than you and I. He's very different, and that guy can wrestle his ass off. And if you look early, Earls did a lot of great takedown defense, really fast get ups, like fighting the hands, like everything he did was like beautiful. And I think Puna and Orolbai's wrestling is two different things.
Yes,
it's not even close to the same. Yep. And if you look at a lot of the takedowns that Puna got, because Puna hasn't really wrestled a lot in his UFC career. The one time he did Nick Maximov, and Maximov reversed him the whole time, ended up win. Did he won that fight? Maximov, yeah.
Puna won that fight.
No, Maximov won.
Did he? Okay. I got to go back and look.
Maximov won that fight just by counter grappling him. Not to say that Earls is anywhere on that level of wrestling, but I think his takedown defense and stand-ups will be good enough. Now Puna shoots 2-3 shots and has to, take him down again. I think he's going to get a little more tired. And then we have the guy who's just a faster, crisper striker to begin with in Earls. I think I like Medic for a decision here.
Okay.
Are you looking up the that fight?
Yeah, he lost split decision.
I remember I had a ton of money on Puna.
All right. Now, the last thing I'll say about Puna is the styles of wrestling are different, and I think Medic is definitely a much better cage wrestler than he is out in the open wrestler. And you see Orolbai pushing the fight to the cage and doing a lot of stuff there, which Puna will do. But also, I think Puna is going to shoot out in the open more, which I think is going to favor him against Medic.
Puna's fight IQ goes out the window sometimes.
I know. I know. It's Hawaiian fight IQ. We know a couple.
Yep.
Next up, not too much to say because we've trained with him forever. C-Rod is fighting Austin Bashi. It's so funny. Why do they hate C-Rod? Like they're putting him against all these guys who are these superstars that they're hoping wins. Like C-Rod's nickname should be Star Killer. I mean, it's like,
it's been that now. And that's actually what's cool about his comments is all his comments are like, can't wait to see you take another O. It's crazy how he does it.
Yeah. And, I love C-Rod. He was actually going to come out, and work with us quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, but then I was in Hawaii the whole time. And so he was like, I'm not going to come out then. But anyway, love C-Rod. Hope he kills it. Good luck.
Let's go C-Rod.
Roman Kopylov, Chris Curtis. The odds here are Chris Curtis plus 211. Kopylov is minus 255. I think it's just because I want to talk about the odds really quickly. I agree. I think Kopylov wins this because what we've seen is that Curtis does a really good job when people will swing with him, but he has a really hard time when people don't agree to his terms. Kick, move, touch, move. It kills him. And Kopylov's lateral movement is phenomenal. He's so fast. He moves so well. Is he a southpaw? Yes. No, he's Orthodox. I think he's Orthodox. Gosh, I don't know why I'm forgetting that right now. But his lateral movement is great. He's so fast. I love it. And he's getting better at wrestling. I mean,
how will that apply to this fight?
We're just talking. I'm not saying it will. I just
D1 Chris Curtis.
No, but I think what it does is I think it helps Kopylov's cardio. I think even if he's not going to use his wrestling, just wrestling in camp is going to make his cardio better. So I think he's good. But Kopylov's speed and lateral movement, like I don't know. I mean, he's got a good chin. There's nothing that says he doesn't. We see Kopylov lose when he gets death gassed and cardioed out, but Curtis isn't the guy that's going to be in your face, pressing you, grinding you out that way. So I do like Kopylov for the win, but I think those odds are a little wide considering like Curtis's resume and how good he is and what he's. I mean, look at his fight with Brendan Allen just recently. I think if that's Brendan Allen won the first, I think 3 rounds. I think Allen looks better early. And I think if this is a 5-round fight, I think you start looking at Curtis a little bit differently. But in a 3-round fight, he starts slow. He gives up a round. Now all of a sudden he just needs one more round, and I like Kopylov by decision.
I'm not kidding. Kopylov legit has like 7 minutes of cardio.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, for a lot of people, it's like, all right, when you go from grappling to striking and then back to grappling, your muscles wear down. It's just how it is. But Kopylov gets tired just from striking. There's been a lot of exchanges, even like in the Caesar fight. He was so tired by round 2, huffing and puffing, just praying he gets a takedown, which was crazy because it's not like he was getting pushed on the fence or anything like that. I actually think that Chris Curtis is the next best dog on the board this whole weekend. Because he did press Brendan Allen. He pressed Brendan Allen a lot, and he had the threat of the takedown the entire time, right? He did end up getting taken down and his back taken, stuff like that. Now he doesn't have that threat here. I think he's going to push Kopylov up to the fence. I think Kopylov is much better at kicking range. If you notice, that's his whole thing is short liver kicks. He loves to throw leg kicks. But he's got that
jab. He's got that beautiful jab, and he moves. And Curtis just plods and doesn't. He's not like forcing the clinch. He's not forcing the boxing range. And
I think he will now. I think he has been. I think he will, since they called him boring and said his fights suck and everything like that. He's really made an effort to be a lot higher volume, a lot more pressure. And actually, this is something we didn't think about, is both southpaws.
Yeah. Okay. So Kopylov is southpaw.
Yeah. So that jab's going to be a little bit different.
No, see, I think the jab is going to be
it's more
better.
effective
I
now.
think I think it's going to be more effective. I think Kopylov's jab and I think his low kick are going to be I think it's even better for him.
I think, though, one thing that Chris Curtis capitalizes on is when people are throwing jabs at him. Yeah. He's so good at rolling.
He also catches kicks well. He times kicks well, knows when they're kicking, and does stuff well.
I think he's pressing him, and I think he's going to win, because you did talk about Kopylov's lateral movement. The issue with his lateral movement is it also makes him really tired. The more he has to run around the octagon and throw and move and throw and move. I don't know. Throwing a kick and having to move off your feet right away is one of the most exhausting things in the world. Like drawing that kick back and then like, oh shit, I got to move. When you can throw a kick and then just plant it and just like take a second is much better. I think Curtis is going to be in his face, counterpunching him the whole night. I think that Kopylov is going to have one really competitive round, and I think he's going to fall off after that. And we're going to see a Chris Curtis. I guess it depends if he goes to the body. And that's the other thing. Chris Curtis works the body a lot. I think we're going to see a round 3 or decision for Chris Curtis.
Okay. We are moving along here, people. Speaking of Cesar, we've got Cesar Almeida and Razak Al-Hassan. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan. And we've seen a lot of these people. Cesar has fought Roman and Kopylov. And then the odds on this little guy are Cesar's minus 275 and Razak Al-Hassan is plus 235. I love Cesar, but I could see Razak Al-Hassan winning this. Cesar's just wrestling it, he's just taken down too easily. And the guys who are taking him down and he's beating are these guys who are taking him down, then death gassing and kind of panicking a little bit.
It honestly makes me mad that Budka lost that fight because everyone else is taking him down so easily. Yeah. Like, why did Budka death gas? And he's never shown that before.
I think the way that Al-Hassan loses this fight is by trying to strike too much and throwing too big of punches too often. You can get away with a little bit, but if you're there for too long, Cesar's going to catch your time and your rhythm. So you want to keep your level changes going. But we've seen Al-Hassan wrestle more lately, and Al-Hassan his cardio's gotten better. Hell, we saw Buckley death gas against Al-Hassan wrestling Al-Hassan,
which is crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, Al-Hassan is at elevation now. His cardio is better. I think as long as he can, the good thing that Cesar does though is he's calm. Even if he never gets tired. Even you take him down 100 times and he's never tired because he never panics. He's just like, oh, whatever. Eventually I'll get up and do whatever I'm going to do. That could pose some problems later in the third round if Al-Hassan is tired by wrestling him. But I like Al-Hassan here for the upset.
Yeah, I think the best way to play this is load up on a lot of Al-Hassan pre-fight. Because there's only 2 ways that he's going to come out. If he comes out like he does against Buckley, where he is measured and he's planning on a 15-minute fight, I think Al-Hassan's got a lot more tools. It's not like Cesar can't be hit. Cesar definitely can get hit a lot. he is extremely precise and he is really, really good. That doesn't mean he can't get knocked out. You know, just like even we saw Gokhan Saki when he came to the UFC, Khalil Roundtree knocked him out, right? So that happens. Is, you know, he's not exempt from being touched.
And Caesar tends to put volume together. He's not one punching people.
No. And that's actually been the most disappointing part about him in the UFC to this point, is that he's not putting anyone, he's not really even hurting anybody. His striking looks so clean and good, but that's what it is. It's just precise and it's good volume. I think Al Hassan's going to be really dangerous. If he comes out like a maniac and knocks out Caesar, then congratulations, you won your bet. If he comes out like a maniac and you load it up on him pre, I think that line will get really, really close. And then you're going to have a nice live entry on Caesar round 2, round 3, and he'll probably cruise to a decision. But the other thing that could happen too is Razak comes out and starts taking him down and just mauling him. Then you just ride out your Al Hassan bet. Like, yeah. I'm with you. I think Al Hassan is it depends on how he fights. If he's been
absolutely,
he's so angsty, especially the last few fights to get these guys out of here. If he comes out like that, I don't think he's going to win. I think that Caesar's going to move and block his punches, and then he's going to just wait till he's tired and pick him apart. But I mean, Razak Judo, there is a world where he just takes him down and mauls him for 15 straight minutes. I have to think Caesar's gotten better about that, but the underdog odds are crazy on this fight.
Man, seeing how easily he's taken down, like even if you get 100% better, you're still at
20.
Yeah, you're still at such a deficit. So, man, watching Al Hassan wrestle so much recently, it's like, gosh, it's hard to deny him, as opposed to like a Budka guy who's like, who will wrestle and then kind of panic a little bit. So,
yeah. All right. I'm tired.
Yeah. Man. Oh, Santiago Ponzinibbio against Carlston Harris. And Ponzinibbio did he just beat Themba, right? No, it was Muslim. Who just beat Themba? And he was the dog. Who was it? Vincente Luque?
Luque, yeah.
That was comical. We were like, yeah, you guys, Vincente Luque at a dog odds against Themba. Let's go for it. And then Carlton Harris, who, gosh, is so long and tall and skinny, and that freaking Darce, man.
What is the this is a pick'em fight.
Is it?
Well, what are the odds? I'm waiting for you, producer.
Okay, Carlton Harris plus 106. Santiago Ponzinibbio is minus 126. Give me your thoughts on this.
I think Santi's gonna hurt Carlston. Carlston is really good. That guy is dangerous. Like, his punches are not very it's not clean technique on the feet, but he is dangerous everywhere he throws. He kind of throws those slapper hooks and just anything that he can find and throw, but he is dangerous. And then obviously he's got the great submission game. I think though, if you're not hurting Ponzi bad on the feet, then Ponzi's been around long enough, ultra vet enough, does all the right stuff, hits hard, puts volume. And I think Carlston's got a little bit of a button chin. I think that guy can get hurt pretty bad. So the way I honestly see it is Carlston's going to come out with fire. I think Ponzi's going to defend a few takedowns, and then he's going to light him up later in the fight. I kind of see a second round knockout is where I'm looking for Ponzi.
I like Ponzinibbio here as well. I think, like, man, I want to like Carlston Harris because Carlston can win. Ponzinibbio is hittable. Carlston is long. And I actually like his striking a little bit. Just it's a little unorthodox, like the way he does.
He hits you from across the cage.
Yeah, it's like, but he's like Dalsum over here with these long, skinny arms, and he does hit you, and he does do a lot of stuff well. I just don't know that he's going to be able to out-wrestle Ponzinibbio and get him to. I feel like he's got to get him to the ground to find that Darce. And I don't think Ponzinibbio is going to be shooting and putting himself into position to be underneath on the bad side of a Darce Anaconda type of choke like a Jeremiah Wells did. And then it comes down to just, if all things considered, because Carlston Harris is old as well, he can be hurt.
They're almost the same age, 37, 38.
He doesn't have the mileage on him. I don't think that Ponzinibbio does, but whatever.
He's had a long career too. He's kind of been through the fire also.
But if you just look at volume, fundamental striking, fight IQ, ways to win, I think Ponzinibbio has a bigger arsenal of tools going into that, and that Carlston needs a banana peel slip to find what he needs to win. And so I like Ponzinibbio. I like a later stoppage. I like a late round 2, round 3 stoppage.
Fight doesn't go, could be a good one too.
So yeah. And I think stylistically Carlston is always trying to send it, and that's going to open him up to to get her. The only issue though is Ponzinibbio sometimes like he volumes and isn't stamping, and so I could see a very dominant fight without a finish. Like
this seems like Carlson's going to get caught trying to kill Ponzi.
Yeah, I
like
can see that.
Big wide hook, and then he's just going to get clipped.
But I like Ponzinibbio for the win, which brings us to our main event.
All right.
First main event of the year, women's main event, Amanda Ribas versus Mackenzie Dern. Remember, if you guys aren't signed up for the Patreon, do it. And if you've signed up for the Patreon but got off it because you knew there was a month without anything, get back on it. We're going to give you guys a bunch
we
of
miss
stuff.
you.
We miss you. And your money. I can't even delete this stuff. No, but come on the Discord. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I think all in all we did, I mean, I don't track anything, but I feel like the last 4 or 5 cards of the year were actually really good. I think I landed almost everything. So I was pretty confident coming in a new year, refreshed, revived. And honestly, more than anything, I'm just happy to sit down on a freaking Saturday and watch a damn UFC fight again.
Oh, yes.
Right. I mean, look, I love football. I've been watching football like all hell. I'm ready for some MMA.
It's good that you do this all day and you still like to watch it on the weekends.
I love it. Every weekend. I love it. And my son does too, Enzo. Lennox doesn't care. But Enzo's like, when's the next UFC? When's the next UFC? He gets mad when there's not a UFC.
When are we going to have him here on the pod?
Oh, man. We don't need those problems. We got Amanda Ribas and Mackenzie Dern. I did watch film on this. I will go, but why don't you go first? Because I'm curious.
Okay, I'll keep it super short and sweet. What is Mackenzie? Plus 190, something like that?
Plus 170.
Yeah, I think that's insane. I think that Amanda's, she's a consummate overperformer as well, kind of like you said about Trey Ogden. To me, her striking is clunky. It's all over the place. It's not really well put together. She can't really wrestle. She's got a few judo throws here or there, and her jiu-jitsu is really good. The plus things are her cardio and her toughness. Well, now you have Mackenzie, whose plus things are cardio and toughness. And weirdly, her striking is like kind of dangerous. I don't know. It's like it's
bad, but effective.
God, she just swings so hard so many times and never gets tired doing it. And she's going to be in your face all night, and she'll take a beating to try it out. It's hard to see. I think Mackenzie is much better than she used to be. Does she lack in a lot of areas? Of course she does, but so does Amanda. So now you're giving me 2-1 on the girl that I think is actually getting better while Amanda's regressing is how I feel. So I like Mackenzie in that spot. That's a good number, good price all around.
It's funny you say that because I think skill for skill, I think Amanda has all of the talents to beat Mackenzie. Her striking is better. If it's a kickboxing fight with MMA gloves on, I think Ribas wins that 10 out of 10 times. Not because she's so amazing, just the way that she moves and what she does. And
I would agree with you. I just think the volume and the pressure for Mackenzie is a real issue for people.
No, it is.
She might eat 30 coming in, but then she's going to clobber you.
And Ribas has good jiu-jitsu and does a lot of stuff well. The issue is Ribas is going to lose this fight herself. Is she can't calm the fuck down. She can't stay out of the fire. They're going to clinch. Something weird's going to happen. She's going to head and arm throw Mackenzie like she always does. She hits the JV wrestling, headlock. And now all of a sudden you just put a world champion on your back. Like she's too wild. She's too awkward. She's too jittery. She spins too much. Like she does so much that I think she's going to end up losing this fight. It's going to be Valentina versus Alexa Grasso, throwing the spin kick, getting her back taken and choked out for it. Not if she didn't spin, like Alexa probably never has the belt. And that's what I see here is like, Amanda could win this fight, and if she is tempered and if she stays outside, she could do a lot of the right stuff. I don't know that she has the reins to hold herself in from just going full Brazilian send. And so
it's weird how she's so giggly and bubbly like that, and then just like goes kill mode.
And then just goes in. So I like Mackenzie here for the upset because I think Ribas is going to lose the fight for her.
Makes total sense to me. Well, that is episode number 1 of 2025. How about that?
In the books.
It is so good to be back, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us for so long. I remember when we started this, we got 200-300 views per episode. Now we're up to 5,000-6,000, sometimes more than that. And we have 5,000-6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yep. So thank you guys for sharing the show. Thank you guys for being a part of the journey. Continue to like, continue to subscribe, join the Patreon.
Comment, but don't be assholes, but comment. We love hearing your comments. We love like talking with you guys and interacting and messing. A lot of you guys are usuals, and we love. I love. You guys don't have to agree. I love hearing people disagree and this and that. I like talking MMA. So
this year, let's do some more lives. Let's do some lives. Have the people talk to us.
I like it. See you guys.